Hello and good morning. Well, 6:45 a.m. London, cold, dark, as you can see. Not many things worth waking up for at this hour of the day, but as you're gonna see, I think, hopefully, this one's gonna be worth it. I'm Alex, and welcome to today's video on my YouTube channel. And we're gonna head up near Silverstone to test something really exciting. So I'm going to take you guys along for the journey. Let's go. Okay guys, so as you can probably tell, I'm new to doing vlogs, so just wanted to give a bit more context into what iZone Performance actually is. They have this complete driver development center up near Silverstone, and obviously we all know that as racing drivers you use the gym to train, you use the simulator at home, maybe a professional simulator, but what sets these guys apart is the way they use these things. It's all about intent, actually focusing and deep diving on things you want to improve, things you want to enhance, and their methodology, as you see, I was there for a day in their sim, is super refined. I thought it was very in-depth in terms of what you need to focus on as a driver. So let's see what that looks like. All right, we've made it here. We're at Silverstone. Well, not on the racetrack, unfortunately, but very much close to it, at iZone Driver Performance. So if you don't know about iZone, it's this complete driver training center founded by Andy Prio. Again, if you don't know Andy Prio, I don't know why you're watching this video, but he's a World Touring Car champion. He raced in the World Endurance Championship as well, packed up a couple of wins. So he's created this center to help train drivers, get a more professional way to train. Basically everything from, sim training, psychological training, obviously fitness, all of that sort of stuff, kind of a holistic approach to race driver training. It's all included. I'm here today for a sim session mostly, so I'm not going to do any physical training, but I'm going to take you inside with me and show you what these guys have inside. I think it's going to be quite exciting. It's my first time here, so I don't know exactly what to expect, but I'll bring you on for the ride. And what I'm going to try to do is, obviously I have this helmet camera footage from F1 from Zandvoort, from Prototype Cup Germany in the LMP3. I've asked the guys if we can run the LMP3 today. They said yes. They also have Zandvoort really nicely modeled. So I want to take you into, this approach of a racing driver going to a sim session like the F1 drivers mostly do before heading out on track. In my case, is going to be after heading out on track, and just compare the two, how a professional sim feels to my rig at home and what you guys might have at home as well. And I'm going to give you hopefully some insight into what these guys at iZone do and how they manage to do that. All right, let's head in. Let's see what this is all about. Inside they have multiple simulator rooms. This one uses an actual TCR touring car shell that they have over there, and you see it's this nice professional layout where you have a data engineer in the back screaming things at you. This was the one we were actually going to be using for today. It's a Formula style rig, but obviously you can run anything in it. We ran the Ligier LMP3 car that I have driven previously at Zandvoort, and it was running on Assetto Corsa. They also have some purpose-built tracks that you see now on the screen, which are designed to isolate certain things like hairpins, chicanes, that sort of stuff. But the car, I think, was developed specifically by the guys. I don't have anything in my AC library at home that feels like this, and the track is the same. So they were quite good. Nothing you could find, in an obscure forum on the internet. But let's see how we actually got on. First things first, getting into the rig, which is, very authentic. Stepping over the chassis, getting into the car. Very similar to what you'd get in a Formula car or a prototype. All right, so let's get into the sim at iZone. You can see nice Formula chassis around you, but what really steals the show is the wrap-around screen, the wrap-around projector, I guess. And of course you can see like real life Momo wheel. There's a couple of tubing, mimics the real race car because they're normally quite cramped and uncomfortable. Obviously we've got a direct drive motor around there, some hydraulic pedals, also having some calipers around there. And yeah, you guys, saw me hopefully driving at Zandvoort earlier this year in Prototype Cup Germany. So now we're going to take the P3 for a spin in the virtual world. The sim is running Assetto Corsa, as you can see. The track is the latest layout, so let's see how we can get on, how it can compare. So Neil, whenever you're ready, I'm ready.
Okay.
Thank you, cheers.
Right, so as we said this morning, let's make sure this out lap, let's command what we need, let's set the tone right from the word go.
And that's something very important that maybe very few drivers do at home. It's that, you know, I would say mindfulness, but purposefulness of just going there and practicing something you really want to improve. So out of the pits here, first thing I notice is obviously the immersion is off the charts. You don't get anything like this even with VR or triple screen setup. I've got nothing I don't need, and obviously I would say the steering is actually even maybe a bit heavier than the real MP3, so this direct drive motor can really produce some torque. Tricky section. Feels very similar to real life. You've got one line only basically if you want to go quick. This is a corner I only got right in the race when I was being chased by Marcus Pommer, so obviously I'm doing it the wrong way around. I'm doing real life to sim, but what the guys at iZone do is obviously you can train before the real race arrive at the racetrack already prepared. Okay, let's do a lap. Let's try to go to Tarzan. Nice and focused on the exit already. View firmly set ahead. I don't think I'm gonna be as quick as my previous best while talking to you guys, but I'm gonna give it a shot. Run the high line here. Maybe a bit too high on that occasion, as we're losing some time on the exit. This corner is really loaded up in real life, and here I can feel it through the steering. LMP3 doesn't like that curve there on the inside, and I run way too deep here. Switch you on the exit. Okay, next lap I'm probably gonna try and do a quick one and shut up a bit more. Same places I was getting oversteer in real life as well. So obviously the setup is different to what we ran in the Ligier at the time. But overall the immersion is just insane. Get the car rotated nicely. Carry the speed through there, a bit wide. Really lean on the aero here, P3 car. Run it all the way up to the exit. Gotta have a really nice and tight line here, otherwise you lose a lot of time. I would say here on the exit was the main difference, where I didn't have the confidence in real life to push it with the amount of oversteer that we had. Banked corner, easy flat. Okay, and now Nia, what he's gonna do is gonna point me with the laser exactly where I need to look. So this is an exercise we ran through earlier. It's absolutely fantastic. Feels a bit weird at the beginning, but afterwards you find that your vision naturally goes to the correct spot, which is looking way further ahead than you know, I was looking at these, and I'm sure most of the people are looking as well. So I'm basically like a trained cat now. I need to follow the laser with my eyes. And you can see how far ahead he's looking at the exit already before the corner, basically. Having to work hard, I tell you that. This direct drive engine they're using is really, really strong. Okay, that was a better lap than what we had previously. Still not quite the fastest, but so we're here with Neil Ridiford, commercial director and professional coach at iZone. Hi Neil, thanks for the experience. I had some laps in this awesome simulator. Okay Neil, so tell us a bit more about this simulator, what we're seeing here, what you guys are using it for.
Yeah, well, with this simulator here, we built this one sort of 13 years ago, so we were very much at the forefront of simulation coming into the UK. This one here costs about 50,000 to develop. It's a great system, but I think that, the thing we've always got to bear in mind that even if there's a £6 million simulator sat there, it can still be driven badly. So it sits on sort of 4 high-frequency actuators, so it can provide ride, curb, strike. There is an air system built into the simulation as well that can gives you a punch of air in the back of the seat on acceleration, and also you can have air in the belts across the chest whilst braking. Obviously we've got force feedback, great pedal system there. So we're trying to replicate as close as we possibly can to that sort of real life environment. So I guess the key thing is comfort within the simulator, making sure that the steering has a high degree of realism and the pedals do what you expect them to do. So overall, it's a simulator that offers a lot of diversity, and it's a great system for training.
It felt really authentic to me, especially the brakes. I think it's a hydraulic brake pedal, if I'm not mistaken. I see you even have some calipers over there, so this goes above and beyond what we would find even in what we say a professional home rig or an esports rig, right? And I think the main difference is how you guys use it as well. Like maybe we're going to put in the video some of the exercises with it earlier, with the laser, with counting. That's really going into the cognitive development of the driver using this thing, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's for me, when we're in this room, we're more like computer programmers. What we're trying to do is to create and develop a mental process that is world class. And of course, for all the budding drivers out there, you haven't got to be a world champion to have a world class process. So everything that we do, it must have intrinsic value. So it's really quality over quantity, and making sure that every exercise that we do, or every time we leave the pit lane, there's a very clear, defined session objective. If there isn't, don't leave the pit lane.
That's not the way to do it. That's very interesting indeed. And I'm going to put you on the spot here maybe, but could you give me your list of, top 3 drivers you've coached recently, or people would, recognize that have been using iZone in your system that you've been telling about? Maybe.
Well, I'd say, over the last sort of 13 years, we've had many drivers that have come through iZone from very junior level. I was doing stuff with Alexander Albon as a very young youngster. And that again was,
He's
probably,
doing very well now
that would
in
have been,
F1.
that would have been 13 years ago.
Yeah.
When I bought a very relatively basic simulator in from Japan at that moment in time. So really we work with drivers that are currently in Formula One, down to some of the most elite karters on the planet, and really everything in between. So really every driver's on a different journey. Our job is to understand what the driver is wanting to achieve, trying to understand their current strengths, and of course that will then help to identify the performance opportunities that then enables them to, I suppose, spend their money wisely to make sure they're getting the biggest return for their spend, thus aiding their speed of progression.
And obviously then they get the track running when they're out there in real life. We all know track time is expensive. This is, I would say, way easier to rack up the exercises and the miles that you were talking about earlier than doing them in a real car for days on end.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at all sports on the planet, typically champions are made well away from the venue. So the idea behind the simulator is that we can put 80% of what we need to bed. Now, of course, when you turn up to a racetrack in real life, there's certain things that we don't have total control over, like what the weather may or may not do. You hope the team are going to give you a car that's competitive. And of course, we have very limited control over the other drivers on the track. But if we can put our own personal performance to bed, that means that when we do turn up, we've got 100% of spare mental capacity to put into the 20% that's not easy to manage. So it's about trying to create spare mental capacity, which no doubt will aid better decision making on track and that progression that we're looking for.
Neil, it's been an absolute blast. I learned a lot today. I need to get me a laser back home and do some counting. So thank you very much for having me. And yeah, if you guys are interested in the services of Neil and iZone, check out their website. I'll put it in the description. And yeah, very friendly. I thoroughly recommend the visit. Thank you very much. Okay guys, thank you very much for watching the video. Obviously, a special thank you to Neil and iZone Driver Performance for having me yesterday as well. I think for me it's been a really good day, a refreshing day in terms of how to use the sim, how to develop as a driver. It had a lot of depth to it, a lot of things I maybe scratched the surface of, and a lot of things I had to learn, and that has been fantastic. So if you haven't seen it, but before the video, basically I did an analysis with Neil of what I think my strengths as a driver are, what my opportunities as opposed to weaknesses are, and then we took it from there. We had a step-by-step process that we developed of, I'm currently here, how do I go to here, which is where I want to be as a driver. It's obviously the sim that they have is very advanced. It felt very immersive to me, especially with the wraparound screen and stuff like the pedals and the brakes have been fantastic to replicate the real car. But as we said, it doesn't even matter what the sim is and how real it is, because what really counts is the process. The process of finding time in the sim and in real life is the same. And also the process you are going to use to train to focus and isolate specific things that you want to improve, again, has been identical between sim and real life. And that was the main takeaway for me. Coming up with the driving plan, getting down to the nitty-gritty details of the things that you want to improve as a driver. And as Neil said, I really like this one, is practicing with intent. When you leave the pit lane, your goal needs to be a bit more detailed than, I'm going to go and do 10 laps and see how I've done and come back afterwards and work on that. You really need to have things that you're focused on. So we did some vision exercises, we did some pressure exercises where I had to drive as fast as possible, but also counting down from 300 in increments of 3, so 297, 294, which again added a whole new dimension to the training that I have done at home over the past years in my normal rig, which was again basically training without much intent. Just go out there, rack up as many laps as possible, and you'll get quicker over time. That is also true, of course, and that helps, but this is really taking it to the next level to use that training as efficiently as possible. So yeah, really good day. Thank you iZone, thank you Neil, and thank you guys for watching. If you like this clip, you want me to do more, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, get that, the bell on, so you're notified when I upload a lot of videos. So there's a lot of esports stuff going on, a lot of streams that I have on my channel, but if you guys like this video, I'll try to do more.
Cheers, thank you, and I'll catch you for the next one. Bye bye.